Hello again. So I'm Amy. This is the Lotus. We are dedicated to helping families, parents, and children stay positive through the DHS and CPS situations. I can only assume most of you have already had your kids taken for one reason or another. Today we are going to talk about parents dealing with addiction. Um, So I had many aspects within my case, addiction being one of them, one of the more true issues. uh, so it's really hard to stay positive whenever you're dealing with addiction, especially just in general. Um, and then when you've got kids on top of that, and then you wake up one day and DHS is at your door and your kids are gone before you go to bed that night, and whatever your drug of choice is, that's rough on anybody. And mine personally was meth, and come to find out, evidently I was self-medicating. I have since then found out that I have a few diagnoses that can cause me to self-medicate. But I'm on proper meds, so yay me. uh, anyway, so whenever you're like in that situation, it's like impossible to be positive, right? Like that's what you feel. You can't be positive. How are you going to be positive when your kid just got taken? That's what goes through every parent's mind, right? And then on top of that, you've got this addiction eating away at you, and you're you're devastated. So that just drives your addiction more. And they take the one thing in the world that is going to, drive your sobriety, and they just rip that away from you. So you think to yourself, well, crap, now how am I supposed to get sober? And I'm sure many of you felt the same way and thought the same thing. I know I did, and many people I talked to did too. And, so I get it. And it's not easy. I can't say that enough. It's not easy. It's hard. It's very hard. Um, you know, for me myself, I was back and forth between the negative and the positive. Fighting off that dark place and finding, you know, my fight. And just right out the gate, I was fighting. And like the first day that they were gone, I sobered up, and it it was crazy because it was like, I don't know, I just knew I was going to win this, and everybody knows winning against DHS is almost impossible, right? Like every parent knows that. That's why we're all afraid of them, you know. Even our parents were afraid of them, and their parents before them. And finding that ground, finding that balance, feels so overwhelming and impossible. But I'm here to tell you it's not. You know, I didn't know how I did it for the longest time, but when I went through my classes, the friends that I made and the people that I found myself relying on and opening up to just kind of blew me away, because I was nothing if not difficult, at first. I mean, I was pushy and opinionated and, very forceful, and, what was true and what was not. I refused to admit fault to things that I was not at fault for, and, I had a lot of attitude. about what had happened to my family, because not all of it was true, but it finally came down to, you know what, Amy, none of these people it, none of these people in the system really care. It's, you can whine and complain about it all day long, but that's staying in the negative. That's hanging out in your dark place. So instead, I had to kind of wake up and say, you know what, I'm going to take responsibility for the mistakes I did make, for one, and I'm going to change every one that I can, and I'm going to keep fighting to change the ones that I'm struggling with. And then for two, I'm just going to, the things that I didn't do, instead of whining and complaining about it, do something about it. Write a complaint. You know, what's complaining gonna do? You sit there and cry about it, but nobody's gonna do it for you. You got to learn the system. You got to know how to change it. So I did the research. I found all the bylaws, and my mom helped me a lot with that. And she printed everything off and got me paperwork, and like she was a trooper, man. And so I did my homework, and I came back at them with everything I found and told them, no, this one's not okay, this one's not okay. And they were like, okay. And that every little tiny win boosted my confidence every time. Every little win brought me closer and closer to that positive, and at no point did I lose hope. I may have felt, this strong urge, I'm gonna go get high. I gotta keep up, I'm gonna go get high. Or, my life sucks right now, I'm gonna go get high. But I just, every time those feelings would come up, I would say to myself, that's what got you here in the first place, so why would you do that? So I would write a poem, or I would call somebody, or I would make myself busy. A friend of mine actually went to jail for distribution while I was dealing with DHS. My best friend, her old man did, and him and I wrote letters back and forth talking about our sobriety, because he was forced into it and I had to choose it for my kids. And not that I had to, just that you know what I mean, like I wanted to. But that really helped, being able to connect with somebody going through the same thing I was. So that's a huge help. I know some people really benefit from like AA and NA. My dad, I'm an NA kid. My dad, I grew up going to NA with my dad. My dad went to prison for distribution, possession. And so I grew up seeing this stuff. I grew up watching it. It's been in my life for as long as I can remember. So it's normal for me. And fighting against that nature was hard, especially staying positive during that fight. But I just had to keep remembering, what life do I want? When I look forward, what kind of life do I see? Do I see one where I'm strung out and my kids are suffering? Do I see one where I'm missing things like 5th grade graduations? Or where I'm so tired because I've been up so long that I miss medication time? Or, I didn't catch my kids' artwork, things like that. Or do I see myself playing out in the yard with my kid, coaching soccer games, and, swinging my 4-year-old in a swing out in the yard, stuff like that? Like, which one do I see? And I held on to the one I saw, and I didn't let go. I had an opportunity to be a coach, and I lost it because I was getting high. And so that's really the best advice I can give anybody, when it comes to staying sober. You know, you look forward and find that thing that you see yourself being, the person you see yourself being, the parent you see yourself being to your children, the life you see for your kids, you know, and hold on for dear life, man. Like, don't let go. That's 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 just really, it's like I said before, there's no other option. You know, when it comes to being a parent, it's, you either are or you aren't. And I think that's what it comes down to, you know. And God, believe me, I know addiction is hard because I've dealt with it my whole life, you know. So just hang on to it, you know. Don't give up hope. Never ever give up hope. Hope is always there. You know, it's kind of like, you know, whatever God you choose, or, you know, whatever faith you have, it's just there. Hope is there. You just got to believe in it. It's like magic. So just stay positive, guys. Be a lotus.